Mark Hambrick here, physically fit at 50. I've got my good friend here, Mike Eck, today. He is the owner, operator of Circuit Fitness, where he does large group workout settings along with individual personalized training here at his gym. He's been personal training for years. He's been a lifelong lifter just like myself. And by the way, he's not quite 50 yet. He is only 49 and 3/4 of the way there. He's knocking on the door at 50. Don't get fooled by all the gray. He's still in his 40s. So Mike, wanted to bring you in. I know how we're always sharing knowledge about different types of exercises, different body parts, different workouts. And I want to bring you in. I want you to join us because we're not working my favorite body part today, but we're working one of my favorites, the chest. All right, so I want to talk to you about building a full chest using free weights.
So, it's a big part. It's an integral part of bringing in mass, is putting the bar up above you. We'll go into dumbbells obviously too, because that's a big part of it.
Yes, it is.
But, getting the proper form, getting the proper bar speed, getting proper placement of the bar across your chest, and just the sequence of movements throughout the bar. Those are very, very important, details in building, massive amount of muscle or strength or whatever your goals are. At the intro level, at the, advanced level, it doesn't matter. You got to get it all right because form and technique is everything, above and beyond weight.
And I know from the time that we're little kids where you're buying the flat bench, you're using the cement weights or the weights you fill up with water back in the old days in the 70s.
I don't remember the cement weights. That's
okay.
My
well,
time.
That was my time. That's what I had. And then we hit high school, and then it's all about the coaches and bench press, flat bench.
Right.
But there's so more to working chest than just flat bench.
Yeah,
now, don't get me wrong. Every man is always comparing what's your bench. All the way through a lifetime. There's three things a guy never forgets.
Your bench, your
squat, and your 40 time.
That's it.
At my age, I'm no longer benching a lot of weight. Maybe once a year, I'll kind of max out and kind of test and see what I can do.
Right.
The only number that is important to me on bench these days is if I can lift 1 pound more than my sons. So that's all that counts when it comes to bench. They are numbered, extremely limited.
Another summer max, maybe.
So Mike, let's take these guys through our basic, some of our favorite chest exercises, talk about the fundamentals, and talk about how many reps and sets that we do, and the techniques that we use, and what exercise works what part of the chest.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start off with flat bench, your barbell flat bench today. And first of all, I want to talk about the reps and the numbers and the sets that I do. I look for anywhere from about 4 to 5 sets. I kind of do a pyramid set, but I always start off with a warm-up. And when I start off with a warm-up, I start off with a light weight that I can get about anywhere from 12 to 15 reps. Now that doesn't count as part of my pyramid. And then after that, I'll go to something that I can get about 10 reps. And then after that, I go 8 reps, 6 reps, and then I bring it back down again to another 8 reps, and then 10 reps. And if I can finish that last set off with more than 10 reps, I like to do it. Why? Because at my age, I'm more looking for the appearance now. I'm trying to build quality muscle, just get plenty of numbers. I'm trying to stay away from injuries though. So I try to go at a weight that I can handle. Now we're gonna get Mike in position here. I wanted to start off flat. You always want to get a good position on the bench. Feet flat on the ground, his butt is down. He does have a hair bit of an arch, maybe in his lower back right here. Shoulder blades are touching. Now, as far as the arm position goes, he wants to get a nice wide grip. Why? Because we're working the chest. The more he gets the grip on the inside, then we start to isolate and hit more of the triceps, which we're not trying to do. We're not trying to work triceps right now. We're trying to develop the chest. As far as the flat bench goes, this flat bench exercise kind of works the overall chest, really stretches it out really well. Now remember when you're lifting, you always need to have a spotter, just somebody there. Even though you can get the weight, you never know what could go wrong, especially at our age. Thing in the gym I hate to see, I see a lot of guys, they bench press and they never bring it down all the way. We always want to come down, touch the chest, get that full range of motion. Now, when he's bringing it down, he is bringing it down with control, getting just as much out of the lift, bringing it down, than he is pushing it up. So you just don't want to collapse it on your chest. You want to bring it down with control. Elbows are out. He's hitting the full chest right now. So this is a great movement, great technique, and it's real basic. Elbows back, nice wide grip,
That's right.
bringing it down, touching the chest, and bringing it up with control.
Yeah, so Mark touched on a real important part. You know, a lot of guys, they get into the gym, they put a lot of weight on, they're dropping that movement from the top to the bottom, and they're not really allowing for that good, it's called an eccentric contraction. That eccentric contraction is responsible for a lot of the tearing. Now, that sounds horrible, but building muscle is about breaking down muscle. So you break it down to build it back up. Well, in that eccentric movement, that's where you get the majority of that breakdown. So if you'll control that movement coming down, you'll get a better contraction coming down, nice slow controlled movement, and then exploding up. Secondly, you'll control that bar a lot better. So your movement's just through the entire cycle of coming down and going back up. It's just a better stability, better contraction at the top of the movement because you're not imbalanced coming up and wavering at the top either. So slow that bar speed down coming up, take it back up quick.
And remember, we're always looking for a proper warm-up here, and we're looking to get anywhere from 4 to 5 sets.
All right, so we've got incline here. This is another great chest movement. All right, so what incline is going to do for your chest is going to work on that upper portion of the chest. All right, there's a few absolutes that I think are very vital that you incorporate into this movement to get maximum results out of it. First off, go ahead and lay back, Mark. So where's hand placement? That's the key, right? Where do I put my hands? So I always tell clients, if you'll bring down your hands to about right here and make a field goal, if you'll take your fingertips and point them at the bar, that's about where you want to touch. Okay, so if you just bring your hands up, I always reference these little collars here. You know, this is called knurling, that little rough part. There's a shiny collar on all bars. I reference that. I know that my finger, my ring finger, goes on each bar. And I know that's perfect for me. So when I come down, I've got my wrist over the top of my elbows and not out here, and I'm not inside here, okay? Come inside, like Mark talked about over on the flat bench. You bring that wrist on the inside of that elbow, now you're working triceps. It's not tricep day, it's chest day. So, placement of hands, very, very important. Mark's gonna lift the bar off. Now, the first thing I like to do is I like to take my shoulder blades behind and squeeze them. So if I'll take my shoulder blades and pinch, and I'm gonna hold. What that's gonna do is take those shoulders out of play. I don't wanna work my shoulders, I wanna work chest. So instead of having those shoulders round at the top of the movement, and then coming down as I come down with the bar, I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together and I'm gonna leave them there. It's gonna give you a better, harder, tighter contraction at the top of the movement. All right, so Mark's gonna come down slow like we talked about. He's gonna stop just about right there, right back up, and squeeze at the top of the movement, okay? Keep those shoulder blades pinched back, but you're still gonna get a squeeze at the top of the movement. So when he's coming up, he's squeezing right there. I can see those muscles working. But you see how he's bringing that bar down nice, slow, controlled, and then squeezing at the top of the movement. Elbows are back, keeping those elbows underneath the bar. If you allow those elbows to come forward as you're benching, what you're doing is you're recruiting more shoulders, okay? Remember, we wanna work chest here. Isolate that chest by taking shoulders out. Pull that elbow back underneath the bar, okay? That way you isolate that chest movement. Good job, Mark.
Now we're moving on to the decline bench. You don't see a lot of guys doing decline because they feel like they don't get enough movement out of this exercise, but decline is excellent for working the lower part of the chest, helping develop that lower part and get it real full. And now, you have less of a range of motion when doing decline because you're bringing it to the lower part of that chest. Now, Mike, you want to lay on back for me? Feet are usually up. It's almost like some type of sit-up bench. You got your feet hooked in. Now, hand position, just like with flat bench, just like with incline bench, is extremely important. You still want to get wide on that grip, elbows back, and you're going to bring it kind of to the lower part of that chest. Almost, it feels like you're going over the upper abs when you actually do it. So Mike, you want to take it off the rack? Come down, nice gradual touch. Bringing it down slow with control because he is getting just as much out of the movement of bringing it down than he is pushing the weight up. As you can see, the motion, his range of motion is limited when it comes to the decline bench. Sounds good, Mike? All right, but you want to work the overall chest. So if you want to work that lower part of the pec area too, you've got to do some decline.
All right, here we go. We're over at flat bench dumbbells. We're doing a fly on this movement. Obviously, there's many ways when you get to the dumbbells. You can do all kinds of different ways on chest. You know, they're very creative ways. This one's just a dumbbell flat bench fly. Great for total volume. It's going to hit a lot more mid-chest, so you get that nice separation between the chest or the pec muscles on the chest plate. It's a great way to kind of get some striations built and some definition. So what we're going to start with is how to pick the dumbbells up. I know it may sound trivial, but never surprises me. I've seen guys that have been in the weight room forever, and they'll pick dumbbells up incorrectly. Now, granted, it's not a horrible thing, but if you go back and do your research, you'll find that most injuries in a health club, they're typically from picking up and putting down weight. So we want to minimize that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the dumbbells on each side of your feet, pick them up like you're going to squat it. We're going to sit back, have a seat on the bench, and put the dumbbells on top of your knees. Okay, now I'm going to kick one dumbbell up at a time. He's going to flop one up. It's going to come up to his chest. He's going to do the same thing and lean back. Now core kicks in, all right? All right, so what we're looking for here, he's going to bring the dumbbells up to a press position, all right? What we're looking for is to bring these dumbbells out and turn the dumbbells a quarter turn out with a little bend in the elbow. So you see how he's got a slight bend. Now when he comes back up, he's going to reverse that and create that quarter turn and hit the back end of these dumbbells together. What that does is it creates a better pinch on that chest, okay? Now he's going to go back out again, get that quarter turn, get that big separation between. He's going to come back up and squeeze. Now if you notice, like we did on the flat bench, incline and decline, we're coming down nice, slow, controlled. We're coming up at the top of the movement. He's going to squeeze. Same thing here. He's got his shoulder blades pinched together. He's squeezing his scaps together, taking out any of that unwanted shoulder protraction at the top of the movement, and coming down nice, slow, and controlled. All right, you can drop him. So he's going to come up. Now I want to show you something here. A lot of guys think they're done right here. Okay, that eccentric contraction we talked about over on the flat bench, they're coming down nice, slow, controlled. He's going to come down like he's going to do one more. Okay, come down, and then he's going to drop them. That's it. Okay. Take advantage of that eccentric contraction at the very top of the movement at every one of your lifts. You're not done until you're finished with dumbbells at the bottom of the movement.
I'll tell you what, the squeeze at the top is so important. I mean, you could just feel it, the striations, and you just feel when you compress that at the top. I love it.
So let's talk about that for a second. So he touches on a very important part. That squeeze at the top of the movement is tension time. So if at any point in time you're going to have a relaxed phase of the movement, it's going to be at the top of the movement. So engage that squeeze that pec, okay? Flex it. Every ounce of energy you have, put into that pec muscle at the top of the movement when you squeeze, and then release as you're coming down and let the muscle re-engage in an active movement. Okay, that's a very important point you made. Can I touch about flat bench on the bench?
Let's go right ahead.
Back? When you're laying on the bench, you want to have a seat back on the bench again? Here's another important thing. As you're going through this phase of movement, you notice his feet are flat on the floor, okay? His butt's touching. His back has a little bit of lift like he talked about over here. Mid-back and definitely the tops of the shoulders on the back side, those are all making contact and stay flat. Okay, too often you're going to see that right there, especially with the heavy lifts. All right, horrible for the back. Doesn't do anything for isolating on the chest. Okay, keep everything flat to the ground. Feet flat on the ground, butts in contact, mid-back's touching. Okay, shoulders are touching, scaps are pulled back together. Eccentric movement down through the movement. Come up, squeeze at the top. Okay. That's about as fundamental as far as the bench goes as I can think of.
Well, Mike, another thing, touching on that, I just hate it when I see people not just arching the butt, but all of a sudden when they're going to lift and they're struggling with the weight, the foot kicks out, and they start twisting. They're putting themselves at risk of injury, pinching a muscle in that back, pulling something. I just hate seeing that kids like that.
And a lot of times what that is I got to get the weight up. It's not about, I've got to transfer everything here to where I want it and do it in an effective way that creates the most amount of muscle contraction and that tearing we talked about, okay? Don't let weight supersede the functionality of the movement. We're trying to build muscle, okay? Stay focused on that contraction. Feel the muscle work. And if you'll stay focused on that and not the weight, how much you can lift and all that goes with it, you'll be way more effective than building muscle mass.
I always say, don't sacrifice the quality of the lift for a bunch of weight.
That's right.
Quality lifting is what you're looking for, especially at our age, Mike, because we want to be in this business for a lifetime lifting.
Right.
And if we go in there trying to throw up the heavy weight, losing our form, we're putting our risk of injury, and we're going to have just setback after setback, which we can't afford to do at our age.
You can't get in shape when you're injured.
No, you can't.
Bottom line.
Now for our last exercise, I'm trying to get that full chest. We've got dips. Now I know a lot of people think that dips are just for hitting the tricep, but that's not true. When you lean forward in your dip, you want to jump up there, Mike? You want to lean forward to put more weight over the body. you hit more of the chest as you come down. You especially feel it in the side. If you're more straight up, then you're hitting more of the tricep. But this is a great exercise, leaning forward, getting real deep, and I know it does help you a lot, trying to help work through that locking point when you are bench pressing, kind of halfway up. It's a great movement for hitting chest and especially finishing up your chest workout, Mike.
And just like, I know I'm kind of beating the drum here, but just like on everything else we've been doing, that eccentric movement, that coming down nice, controlled movement is very important. So with regards to dips, you know, not everybody can do a pull-up, not everybody can do multi-reps on dips, either one. So to assist in that, you can buy bands. So I bought this one from Fringe Sports. You can get them at Academy. You can purchase them through Rogue Fitness. There's all kinds of different vendors that carry them. And what you do is you place the band on here. It gives you some assistance. You can do the same thing. Pull-up bar, you can loop this through, have it hang, put your knee inside of it, and give you some assistance as you're doing your pull-ups. So on assistance on the dip, you put your knee inside here. Okay, now it's going to give you some on the very bottom of the movement, allowing you, as you get stronger through the movement, to finish the movement with more of your body weight and control. Okay, so it'll assist you on the bottom, you take control at the top. All right. It offers you an opportunity to finish multiple reps where you normally wouldn't be able to, and you can build strength. This happens to be, I think it's a 35 or a 40 pound. You can get them in 20s, 10s, and 15s, or whatever increments you want. Just take these bands down to a point where you're not even using them anymore.
Well, Mike, just to piggyback on the very opposite of that, if you're real good at doing dips, you've got a lot of good upper body strength, you can always go with a weighted object. They have these belts usually in your weight room, and you just kind of wrap it around. Of course, you can add any weight. I only have a 10 on here today. Just let it dangle. And now I've added some weight, keeping the weight over, really hitting the chest. Now with some extra weight. So there's ways that you can either make it easier for you, assist you, or ways that you can make it even more challenging. So today we just went over some of our favorite basic free weight chest exercises that hits the chest, that will help you develop that full chest. So guys, if you liked it, please share it with your friends, subscribe, and keep on watching us, because we're going to come out with even more fitness videos coming your way in the future.